And it's Good News with Dick Baumbach. I'm Jeff Heiser here with another week of good news from Mr. Baumbach. What do you have for us today there, Mr. Baumbach?
Well, we've got some good news stories because that's what we need. And, you know, it's just great that every week we're able to do this and let the world know that there are good news things happening around the world.
There really are. You have four amazing stories, and let's jump right into the first one. It's about a new drug that inspires hope for Alzheimer's cure. And I really want to know this because my grandmother passed away because of complications from Alzheimer's, and I'm always very, very curious about what's going on in that area.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, Jeff, because my dad passed away from Alzheimer's. And so when I saw this story, it was like, wow. It's a new drug that they're testing, and I'm going to have a tough time pronouncing, but if it's aducanumab, it's in the early stages of development. But so far in their study, they have found that the amyloid plaques that are a part of that Alzheimer's thing are stopped and are cleared up. And the doctors now, and this is happening in England, are saying if this testing continues the way it has been, it looks like it could really, really change how Alzheimer's affects people.
Wow,
it's amazing.
That is amazing. And, you know, I don't know, if you've ever really researched it, but they say that in a family that there is an Alzheimer's, the siblings or the children have a 1 in 3 chance of also contracting Alzheimer's. It's a frightening thing.
Yeah, it is. And that's why, obviously, like you just said, I mean, there's history. And in my family, there's history, and it's like, I hope that this drug comes along quickly. I mean, these people are saying that, just Dr. David Reynolds, he's from the Alzheimer's Research UK, says that they believe in 2 to 3 years they can significantly reduce memory decline, and that it can be done safely with this drug. They just need to keep testing and testing and testing.
Wow. It'd be great if they could come up with a way that was like selective memory decline.
That's a good one.
There's just some things you just don't want to remember. Oh, gosh. So the next story you have is a couple finally opens mysterious wedding gift from 9 years previous. How can you hold on to a wedding gift for 9 years?
Okay, here's what happened to Kathy and Brandon Gunn. They got a wedding gift that it said on the outside of it said, "Do not open until first disagreement." Well, they had their share of fights and scuffles over the 9 years, and it was on and off, etc. But it was Kathy's great aunt Allison, who and her husband, who were married almost 50 years, who gave them this gift. So the Guns put it away in a closet, and every once in a while they think about it. And then finally, after 9 years, they said, we're doing okay. We don't have problems. Let's go in and let's just see what's in there. So they decided to open up the gift, and they figured there'd be really nothing inside. Well, what was inside were 2 candles, 2 wrapped wine glasses, and 2 separate notes with 2 $10 bills. One of the notes told Kathy to go pick up some pizza, and the other was a message to Brandon telling him to go get flowers and a bottle of wine.
That's amazing. I've got to remember that. That's, I was just recently at a party where the person was married. How many years was it, Dick?
I think it's 50.
That would have been a perfect gift.
But and what the Gun said, the gift made them realize that, there have been problems over the years, but they have been able to work through it. And in fact, Kathy wrote an essay and put it on Facebook, and it's gotten hundreds of comments.
Wow.
Saying, so it's great.
A lot of people ask my wife and I how, mostly my wife, how we've stayed married for so long. And, it's just don't ever go to bed angry.
That's right.
Just don't ever go to bed angry.
And then it's the other two words, right? Yes, dear.
Yes, dear. That's a conditional thing. You have to learn that. and normally they do a good job at training you in that area, so you don't have to worry about learning it per se. You just get trained.
That's absolutely correct.
Oh gosh, your next one, and I'm not sure how you say this word. Is it leaf or left? Left.
L-Y, left self-driving cars.
Yeah, left to have a fully autonomous fleet of self-driving cars by 2021.
Which is 5 years from now.
Holy smokes, did you have to remind us that?
No, and the co-founder of the company, John, and he's the president, John Zimmer, he says that he has entered into a partnership with General Motors, and that these autonomous vehicles, within 5 years, there'll be a fleet of them across the country. And what will happen is initially the cars will be in cities and will go up to a maximum 25 miles an hour.
Oh, wow.
And then they'll increase to 35. But he says that millennials are itching to get rid of the ball and chain of car ownership, and they want to have these autonomous cars so that they can, whenever they need transportation, they can just get in it, make it happen, go where they need to go, and they won't need to own anything, and it'll take them there safely without any problem.
That's amazing. Have you done any research into these type of cars? It's amazing what's going on.
Well, I have tried it by taking my hands off the wheel, and then the lovely wife has said, "Don't you dare."
Well, we test drove a car that the salesman said, "Okay, go ahead, take your hands off the wheel, and remove your foot from the brake, and just let it go." And it stays in the lane, and when it comes up to something, it knows to stop. And so when we did this, I went out and I did a little bit of research, and what I found is that the technology is there. They know how to make a car go by itself and get from point A to point B. The challenge is all of the other vehicles on the road. How do you avoid or stay in sync with them? That's been the challenge. And once they figure that out, like obviously these people have, it's not far down the road where you just get in your car and say, Dairy Queen, please.
And the other thing you said too, what this Mr. Zimmer says is that he says, look at the space around you and how much of the land is devoted to cars. And he said, with this shared autonomous vehicles, that's going to change because you won't need that many cars.
Yeah, I can see it happening with the younger people, but I think it would be a challenge for yourself, like people your generation, my generation, of giving up that what we consider to be our freedom. Freedom machine. We just jump in the car and go wherever we want, But I think with the younger people, because they adopt to the technology so quickly, it seems, this is going to be, my grandkids. I can see, my little guys getting in the car and say, yeah, take me to such and such, and not even have to worry about it.
Well, in fact, it's funny you said that because a relative of ours who's an engineer, he told me a couple of weeks ago that he believes that in the next 15 to 20 years, that just what you said, that group of people will not even get driver's license.
No. I can see it after hearing this and seeing some other things. Why would they?
Yeah.
They just need to get in, whatever it is. I mean, didn't Uber come out and say that they're going to also have, a set of self-driving cars once they become available? And I'm sure if Uber does it, there's going to be other ones that follow. And sooner than later, they're going to have, all these options where they don't have to have a car.
Oh, I know. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. Your next story is a good one. It's about a police officer to adopt a kitten that he rescued using partially eaten burrito. I don't know if I would give my burrito up.
Well, this is two officers. The last names are Jimenez and Corona, and they were at the Parlier County Police Department in Parlier, California. And they found a kitten in a drainage pipe. And they were trying to figure out how to get it out. And they managed to coax out the cat by literally trying to get him to eat a partially eaten burrito. and now Corona is really planning on adopting the kitten, and he has identified a name. Can you guess what name it will be?
Corona.
Nope. Burrito.
Burrito. Do they also have a Chihuahua?
And a Starbucks.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's a good story. That's a really good story. What do you have for us next week?
I have one about clothing, and this is interesting, but it's how clothing keeps coming back. But you'll have to wait till next week.
Well, don't give it up. Have a great week, and thank you so much for bringing us the good news, Mr. Baumbach.
Thank you, sir, and you take care and have a good week.
Everybody take care. Have a great week.